Hello everyone, my name is Apple Guy, and welcome back to more Let's Play Professor Layton and the Curious Village. In the previous video we made our way here to the north side of town once again. It is nighttime and we are in Crumb's Cafe to speak to Crumb himself.
Oh there, never seen your mug in here before. What'll it be, pal?
Oh, I'm not ordering anything. Actually just came by to inquire about a certain matter.
Huh, not here for the special then, huh? Well, what do you want to know?
No one has seen or heard from Ramon, the servant at Reinhold Manor, since this afternoon. We've looked about everywhere, but to no avail. It's like he just vanished from St. Mystere. When talking with Triton earlier, he mentioned a strange old man who is said to lurk around the village. Do you perchance know anything about such an individual?
An old man? Oh right, that old rumor.
So you have heard of him before. If you have any information, anything at all, please share it with us.
Huh. You're not from here, are you? Thing is, I can't have you spreading crazy rumors about St. Mystere to the outside world now, can I? Of course, if you're a puzzle lover, then maybe, just maybe, I could find it in me to trust you. Whoa, I see you've solved 30 puzzles. Alright then, here's an earful for ya. I know a fellow who swears up and down that he saw a strange old geezer skittering around the town. The fellow is known as Prosciutto. He's a wee one, but he's got the appetite of a wolverine.
Do you know where we might find this Prosciutto?
Can't say for sure, but at this hour, well, he's probably at home snacking on something. His house is on the road that winds up north from here. Why don't you go and pay that walking ice box a visit?
Alright, we have a new objective. Always talking to the locals will give you an idea of what you need to do. Oh, wait. Over there. And in. From the northern path, of course. Here's a puzzle in the meat. Look, it's a hidden puzzle. It's hidden puzzle number 114, Tetrahedron Trial. The image below is of a tetrahedron that has been disassembled so that each of its 4 faces lie flat. Which of these triangles should you insert in place of the question mark, so that when the tetrahedron is put back together, both the red and blue lines continue unbroken from one face to the next? What a puzzle we have here. This is of course a hidden puzzle, which means it is one very, very late in the game. It's intended to be a bit of a trickier one. So what we need to do here is analyze these 4 right here, and imagine placing them in to the box right here. And we have to imagine what the shape would look like once we did, and you have to imagine, for example, continuing. Let's get a blue. This blue line straight down like that. Okay, that'll be fine. You also have to imagine this red line going down and that red line going up. Now, what's tricky is you can imagine also having to rotate the shape. If we decide what we need to do though, C is the correct answer, just based on what I drew there. That resembles the C triangle the most. Excellent! 3-dimensional visualization is crucial to solving this puzzle. Like I said, you need to know how to rotate and see how the arrangement will come together. Anyway, that's the solution to that puzzle there. Done, let's go find more puzzles. I will do nothing of the sort because I would rather look around this guy's weird house, get a hint coin, and that's the only hint coin in here? Let's talk to him. This is Prosciutto. He's a hungry guy.
Hey, what do you want? Start jawing so I get back to dinner.
I heard from a fellow at the cafe that you witnessed a strange old man prowling around the town. Could I ask you for a more detailed account of what you saw?
Okay. I think it was something like 4 days ago. I was on my way home from the market when I saw this creepy guy sneaking around. So I took a closer look, right? I wanted to make sure he didn't clean out the butcher before I got there. Up close, it was some spooky old guy with some huge shack.
Jomp.
I yelled at him, but the geezer just bolted. I was all like, man, look at that Gramps, must have moved. I think that weirdo is the one who's been kidnapping people. If you gotta be out at night, watch yourself, you hear?
Interesting. Yep, interesting. Well, bye. Yawn. Oh gosh, sorry Professor. It's not that the investigation is boring me or anything. I'm just a little sleepy. It's gotten late. Let's report our findings to everyone at the mansion and wrap things up for the day. Professor, look over there! Oh my gosh, is that Ramon? Hey,
Luke, sir, hold it there.
it's that aforementioned old man in a fully animated cutscene. It's always a treat when we can get a fully animated cutscene. Oh no, we've lost him! Luke, you saw that too, didn't you? No doubt about it. That was Ramon. Does that mean the kidnapper killed Ramon too? Ah! Steady there, Luke. I think we'd do well to return to the site of Ramon's abduction. The kidnapper may have left a clue behind, you see? Right. Lead on, Professor. Mysterious rumbling was added to the list of mysteries. We need to go sweep the site of Ramon's abduction for clues. You're absolutely right, Professor. Professor, look at this! This appears to be identical to the item recovered from the crime scene at Reinhold Manor. Do you think it might help us find who's responsible for both crimes? Perhaps. At any rate, first priority is to report our findings to Lady Dahlia. Come on, Luke, back to the manor. Wow, this investigation just got a lot more interesting. Chapter 4 is all done now. It is quote-unquote solved. Not particularly solved, I'd say, but, you know, we finished it. After witnessing Ramon's abduction, the Professor and Luke returned to the manor to report their findings. We have urgent news. Ramon has been abducted.
What? How? Who? I must inform Madam at once. Madam, something terrible has happened.
So are you saying that Ramon has been involved in some kind of foul play? No, we can't be sure of that yet. However, time is of the essence. We must organize a search to locate him post-haste.
Mr. Layton, what is the meaning of all this? Why do you insist on whipping the town up into a frenzy?
The situation has changed recently, Inspector. We saw Ramon being abducted in town. I'm afraid you may have a serial murderer case on your hands. We must rally the people of St. Mystere and organize a search.
Mr. Layton, last time I checked, this was my case, not yours. It's too late to start looking tonight. We'll organize a search first thing in the morning.
We've no time to debate whether or not to wake a few sleepy villagers. While we sit here bickering, poor Ramon may already be...
Everyone, your attention, please.
Honestly, Matthew, can't you see we're busy right now? What is it?
My sincerest apologies, madam, but it's Ramon. He's returned.
Returned, but... Yes, after the professor honored us with a visit, I went to the market to do the shopping. Why do you ask? Just what is going on here?
There you have it, Layton. Now will you finally leave the detective work to the detective?
But we saw it. We saw it happen right before our eyes. Ramon, didn't you remember any of this? That's enough, Luke. But, no, he was... I must apologize, Inspector Chelmy. It was dark out, and it seems that I was mistaken in what I saw. Now, if you'll excuse us, it's been a very long day, and I do believe we could all use a little rest.
I certainly agree. The last thing I need is some drowsy scholar creating a panic in the village.
Well, good night to all you then. Puzzle!
No matter how I try, I just can't seem to find that special someone. Tell me, Professor.
Oh wait, this is Gordon. I forgot. Tell me, Professor, what does an eligible bachelor like me have to do to find a girl? I had an epiphany the other day. I think the reason I'm alone is because I can't solve this puzzle. Oh, how I've tried to solve it, but no matter how many nights I spend pondering it, the answer eludes me. Please help me, Professor. I don't want to spend the rest of my life talking to my stuffed animals. Hey, this is finally puzzle number 12. Why the game did this, I will never know. But puzzle 12 is like way after all the rest of the puzzle. We're in like puzzle 40 something. Now they're like, here's a good time to get puzzle 12. Okay, so if you want to cut the piece of paper shown in the diagram into two pieces and then assemble them to form a rectangle, all you have to do is cut the paper as shown in diagram 2. However, in order to assemble the pieces as shown in diagram 2, you need to flip the pieces over before putting them together. There should be... Where should you cut the paper if you want to turn the paper in diagram 1 into a rectangle without flipping either of the two pieces? So essentially we just want to be able to move a piece over, as opposed to having to like rotate it all. So what we're going to need, we cut like this. There we go. Okay, got it. Restart. What we need to do is find a way to cut this so that we can just sort of like slam them together, if that makes sense. I would draw it out, but I don't particularly know like a way to do that with a drawing. But if we cut it like this, how I have it right here, we wouldn't need to flip a piece. We would need to rotate a piece. So a flip would be like if this is side A, making it show side B. A rotation would be like this is side A, and what we end up with is side A, like upside down A, and that's entirely valid. So we're free to do that, which means that is a solution to the puzzle.
Luke
you can see how like that T shape would fit into that little notch there. That's 40 picker rats done. That's right, now that you know the answer, the puzzle seems quite simple, doesn't it? So as you can see, instead of flipping, we rotate. It's an equal transformation in the sense of like mathematics. If you flip something, if you rotate something, the shape still stays the same, but they didn't want to flip it, so anyway. Oh joy, I'm positively tingling with excitement. With that puzzle solved, I'm sure I'll find a bride in no time. There we go. Alright, off to bed now, off to bed. Goodbye, Matthew.
Inspector Shelby and Madam have already retired for the night. Ramona's likely off to the cafe. You've had a very hard day, Professor. Do try and get some rest. Good night, sir.
Good night, Matthew. Thank you for your appreciation. I wonder what we really did just mistake. I wonder if we really did just mistake what we saw on the street. No, I'm certain that it was Ramon. When we saw him there wasn't the slightest hint of life in him. He may have lost consciousness, but how odd that he can return so healthy an hour later. Stranger still is the fact that we seems to have no memory of what we saw happen to him. It's so peculiar. Plus, Ramon wasn't even the first. Lots of people seem to have had the same experience. Any other villager would be in a panic over something like this. Saint Mystere, well, it's peculiar, that's all. There's something very peculiar about the whole town. Yes, in most places, no one would stand for this. We've seen that Saint Mystere is anything but normal. Ramon's memory was added to the mysteries. Awesome. And we're just spoiled with a second fully animated cutscene of Saint Mystere. Morning has returned yet again, and the tower is quiet. For now. Yes, don't you worry, I'll let him know. Oh, hello there. There was a phone call for you. It was from Inspector something or other. From Inspector Chelmy? He just kept saying that it was urgent, that you should meet him at the Reinhold Manor at once. He probably wants to talk about what happened yesterday. Maybe so. We won't know until we get there, though. Come on, Luke. Alright, it is dawn of a new day, and we're ready to continue the game. There you are, Professor. Would you help a girl out? I've got something here I'd like you to look at. I made this darling sandwich for my special lunchbox, but this silly thing is too big. Can you make it fit? Sure, we can make your lunchbox fit with puzzle number 55, the odd sandwich. Using the scraps left over from your breakfast, you managed to cobble together a rather oddly shaped sandwich. How many times must you cut the sandwich in order to make it fit neatly in the container? Well, this is actually very similar to the puzzle we just solved, because this is making a very odd shape into a rectangle. Essentially, as you can see, we need to fit it in there, and so we need to cut it somewhere near the middle, probably like here-ish, to get the shape to fold in on itself. But the solution is you only need to cut it once, actually, and that's what the puzzle's asking for. Not really where to cut it, but how many times you need to cut it. So our answer is one time. Only one time you need to cut it, and it'll work perfectly. It should be just about where I drew the line too, in case you were curious. Yeah, that's right, the puzzles will snap once you see how the sandwich's protruding edges fit together. And fit together they do, perfectly into a rectangle. Oh, Professor, you're just the cleverest. Thanks for helping me figure this out. A chair will go to Layton. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and leave the inn now. Begin working our way back towards the manor. Yeah. Looks like you fellows are getting used to saying Mystere. But stay sharp. Believe you me, you'll be buried all sorts of difficult puzzles before you can shout, stash, and scarfin. By now, I'm sure you've realized you can retry the puzzles you failed to solve, eh? We have not failed a single puzzle, actually. However, have you noticed how some puzzles just seem to vanish before you can get back to them? That's right. You see, that's the way with some things in life. Once they're gone, they're gone. For good. But rest at ease, you two. Those puzzles you thought had vanished have merely moved elsewhere. You must seek out Granny Riddleton's shack. It's a strange old building, so it should be easy enough to spot. Don't get sloppy just because you know how to retry puzzles now. There's no honor in laziness. Now that you've got the lockdown on puzzles, let me throw a puzzle your way to keep you sharp. Hopefully that's the end of puzzle tutorials. I think we know Granny Riddleton is the place to go when you miss puzzles. Anyway, this is puzzle number 56, the Lazy Guard. Here we are. The local museum has an exhibit that spans 9 rooms, as shown in the diagram below. The entrance of the complex is marked by A, and the exit is marked by B. The security guard is a bit of a loafer and wants to walk to each room of the exhibit while turning as few times as possible. What is the fewest number of turns he can make while still visiting every room? As an example, the diagram shown below shows a course that involves 6 turns. So 6 turns is obviously the the easiest sort of way you could go about this, but we need to figure out, or not the easiest way. It is one way. So you see 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns, 5 turns, 6 turns. That is a way you can go about it. But thankfully, what we can do is actually avoid a whole ton of turns if we... I have to get a good memo. I always try and click the X button to clear it, but that's not like a valid solution. The trick to this puzzle is realizing that the guard can walk diagonally as long as he touches every single room. So with a shape like this, it's sort of like an hourglass turned on its side. You can imagine that's where the other end of the hourglass... Oh, I guess like a bow tie. You can make it in only 2 turns. It's very, very easy. So we will submit 2 turns as the answer. One of these days I'm going to write 002, for example, just see if the game will accept that. I'm curious if it will. That's right, if the security guard takes a path like the one shown above, he can finish his patrol of all 9 rooms in just 2 turns. Since the example shows the guard turning in right angles to go from room to room, it's easy to assume that your solution works the same way, even though that's not the case. Technically, you can walk in circles, and there's no angles in a circle. Yeah. And that's what I like to see. Seems the training I've been giving you has paid off. No need to thank me. Anywho, be seeing you around. Thank you, Stash and Scarfin. Appreciated as always. We're gonna continue into the town, chatting with some locals, making our way towards the manor. Hey, Professor. Looking busy as usual. Yep. Oh, I got this puzzle. I just can't figure it out on my own here. Can you help me lend me your thinking cap? Sure, this is puzzle number 57. Cut which one? Below are 6 linked rings. They may look like a tangled mess, but there is one ring that, if cut away, would leave the remaining 5 rings locked end to end in a long chain. Which one must you cut in order to make that chain? Choose one from the answer below. So, by cutting one of the chains, we will end up with a very long string. So you want to rule out immediately these ones here in the middle, because these ones are ones that connect the chains together. And so you're going to want to cut one of the 4 on the ends. Now, the one of the 4 on the ends, they all would work, but it depends on which ones are looped within which ones. And you can see that cutting A, for example, chopping A right here to say, still has an attachment here. If we look at D, we can slice right here and release both E, D, or A, B, and E, which means our solution is D. We need to cut the D ring, and it will release the rest of the chain into that long string we were talking about. Good job! If you examine the connections for each ring, the answer is surprisingly easy, isn't it? It certainly is, and that's exactly what I was saying. Ah, so that's how you do it, yeah? I can finally rest at night. The thing's been bugging me for days. Let me tell you something neat. And by neat, I mean really terrifying. The thing is that I've actually seen that old man with the big sack coming out of the tower up north. I bet you dollars to donuts that he's the one behind all these disappearances. I wonder what he does up there. Wait, no, I don't even want to think about it. It's just too scary. Wow. So it appears that people are just kind of used to this whole, like, oh yeah, we live in a town where people get kidnapped thing. Which I think is kind of crazy, but perhaps they feel a little bit differently. Something on the floor here. What is that on the ground? It looks like a scrap of notepaper. What's it say, Luke? Well, let's see here. Ahem. It's just terrible. Lady Violet has an awful case of the flu and hasn't left her bed for days. I'm no doctor, so I can't think of any way to help her. Oh, what to do, what to do. Lady Violet. Oh, this journal must be talking about Baron Reinhold's first wife. My heart is as heavy as I write these words. The loss of my wife has completely crushed the boss. If only there was something I could do to help. He walks around looking like he's had the wind knocked out of him. And that's the end. Gosh, whoever wrote this must have cared an awful lot for the Baron and his family. Indeed. Indeed. Alright, one final puzzle for the video.
Hey there, Professor. Bet you're here to solve my puzzle. I'm right, aren't I? Yeah, of course I'm right.
Final puzzle is puzzle number 59, The Longest Path. 2 boys are playing a game in which the goal is to take the longest route possible from point A to point B. The only rule is that no section of road can be traversed more than once. Which course should they take in order to cover the longest possible distance between point A and point B? Okay. A very sort of fun logo here we need to get, or a fun challenge. We need to get from A to B using what is essentially the longest possible route. And I don't think that's the longest possible route. Obviously, we want to go as close as we can to B without actually getting there. And then we're going to route ourselves up around and then down into B. So that's the route we want to take. We want to just do what is essentially the least convenient route possible, which is the route that leaves the most road untouched. That is my solution. Or the least road untouched, my apologies. You want to make sure you take a really long time. Really dumb game. Must be incredibly boring to live in wherever they live, but you know. Nice work. Speaking of leisurely strolls, have you been outside today? If it's sunny, why not go for a nice walk? Because I gotta play video games, game. Random thing, but this puzzle solution kind of reminds me of the Captain Sparkles logo. You can imagine that first little C I drew from A to right above B, and over is the C. The S is that little snake in the middle going towards the B. Looks like the Captain Sparkles logo to me. Bang up job there, Professor. Even that puzzle didn't phase you, huh? That's not the right phase, isn't it PHASE? That's phase like phase up, phase clan. Anyway, of course not, you're a pro. Yep, you're a real piece of work, prof. You know that? Of course you do. You're a scholar after all. Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all for today's video. In the next episode, we're going to head to the manor and begin getting to the meat and potatoes of this mystery. We found a note, we found Ramon, we've got a lot to talk about there with Chelmy at the manor, and so we're going to do that in the next episode. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit like and subscribe, and tell friends on my channel if you think they would enjoy it. It means a lot to me when you guys my videos around, and I'll catch you guys all back here next time for my next video. Until then, as always, take care.